My name's Althea, and I am here to talk a little bit about collaborative empowerment. So when you think about Etsy, you probably think about a group of independent, creative businesses selling their handmade goods to millions of people around the world. And you're right, this is actually a picture. All those tiny little dots are avatars of Etsy sellers. We made this actually a long time ago, so it is not all of the 850,000 Etsy sellers, but it's a lot of them. And you think about what is it that makes Etsy sellers sort of start their business. And I think it is sort of creative, desire for a creative outlet, but I think it's also this kind of like spirit of independence. And that's certainly, as an activist, that's definitely what attracted me to Etsy. I can't tell you how many times I say this to my family and friends, and they don't actually think it's that funny anymore. But anyway, Etsy is not just a collection of individuals and independent creative businesses. It's also a collection of collectives. So we call them teams. Teams are groups of Etsy sellers that they self-organize. They organize around locations where they are. They organize around what they make. They organize around what they like. So kittens, or you can see here Team Bacon, big popular team. And I think it's pretty awesome. It's not just a small thing. There are over 7,000 teams on Etsy. Over 350,000 of our sellers, of the 850,000 sellers, are in teams, which is pretty great. And they do some amazing things. So they help each other out, and in particular, they help out sort of newbies and vulnerable sellers. So there's this team called, the Sneak Attack team. And what they do is twice a week, they all come together, they pick a shop, either a new shop or one that doesn't have very many sales, and they will all, on one day, sneak attack that team, where they'll go and they'll buy stuff from that person's store. They will promote that store on social media. They'll favorite it. They'll put it in treasuries. They'll sneak up on them and surprise them with success. And I have here, I don't know if you can read it, it's a quote from somebody who has sneak attacked this woman, Nicole, and basically what she says is, I was thinking about closing down my shop. I was feeling really discouraged, but the sneak attack gave me the confidence to, pick up my business, think of new ideas, get things going, and now it's a secondary source of income for me. And, one thing that I think is so cool about this is, like, in what other world do businesses plan how to help their competitors succeed? I think that doesn't happen that often. And also, it's this great situation where the folks who are sneak attacked then almost inevitably join the sneak attack team and then go out and do it to other people. So it's this crazy virtuous cycle of people helping each other out in a way that's awesome. So it's not just that they're helping each other, it's also that they're coming together to do things that they couldn't do on their own. And so this is an example of a team based in Denton, Texas. They're the Dime team, and they started about 2 years ago, but actually this March they opened a brick and mortar store together in Denton, Texas, which is like pretty awesome. And they do that. They also run it sort of collaboratively, so folks on the team can volunteer to run the cash register or help manage the store in exchange for space in the store. So they're kind of creating this cool little barter system. Also, they're like a great force for local, sustainable economic development, and they're doing it on their own, which is rad. And then they also help each other out, especially in times of need. And I hope you can see these pictures. This is a woman, she's from Portugal. Her name is Sandra Rosa. She and her husband were both self-employed folks. They restore tiles in Portugal. And she also is a potter and sells her stuff on Etsy. Unfortunately, her husband got cancer, and he actually passed away this December. So she is part of this team, the Etsy street team, or the European street team. And this is actually organized by a woman in Turkey who she has never met, got together. The whole team donated individual items for a raffle. They sold tons of tickets, and not only that, they actually drove tons of people to her shop to purchase things from her shop and basically like keep it empty all the time after he passed away. And I pulled this from her blog, which is also probably too much for you to read, but it was so moving, I just wanted to put it all up there. So she talks about how sad she was, how she's like hiding her tears from her son, and then suddenly a global energy came into my home, my spirit, my mind, my body, an immense light appeared. And then this light, I give the name of friendship, companionship, affection, but none of these words are strong enough to describe them. And then she goes on to talk about how her tears have turned into tears of gratitude, which is just so amazing, I think. And you know what's incredible or exceptional about this is that it is not exceptional. When I was asking folks for examples of teams helping each other, I got tons and tons of them, and it was really hard to choose just one. So for me, when I think about like, okay, why are teams so awesome? Yes, it is all the amazing things they do, but it's also how they do it. So they organize themselves without any sort of institutional infrastructure, no support. You know, yes, we give them a place where they can come together and find each other. But really, you know, if you think about sort of community in the past, like, and still to some extent today, we would organize things like this through a church or a union or a PTA, these like big institutions. But now, thanks to the internet, folks can come together and build this kind of community and support on their own. And I think the result is that you have this happening at a macro scale. This is happening all over the world in a way that, like, if Etsy decided to do it, there's no way that we could, but also in this really, like, personal, real-time, really relevant way that impacts people's lives on a really personal and amazing level. So, you know, as a activist, I look at this and I think, like, how can we leverage this for political power? Because this is pretty cool. And so I looked, and actually it turned out that that it had, and that there's this there's a bill that happened. This is actually back in 2009. It's a consumer protection bill that Congress was considering, and there were some rules in it around like making children's toys, and maybe you were going to have to, like, our sellers were going to have to send their toys out to get tested for lead and do all this stuff that would be really hard for them if they're like sitting at home making like felt stuffed animals. And so they did organize and sort of worked and won some things, lost some things. The bill passed. In any other advocacy story, that would be the end. But actually for these guys, it was just the beginning. They started this team called Keeping Up with CPSIA, which is the bill. That bill passed in 2009. You can't see here, but this is a screenshot I just took. The last post was like 3 days ago. And basically, they have come together to figure out how to basically comply with the bill and educate each other and make it work. But what's even more interesting, I think, is that the US government has found this and found this community. And so there are folks from the Consumer Protection Commission, or whatever it's called, that actually come here and engage with the people in this team, both to like educate them and help that, like, correct misinformation, but also take information that they're giving about how enforcement is hard for them back to the bureaucracy to help make that work better. And so what I think is so cool about that is that, like, my version of politics is a lot of like interest groups versus the government. We're gonna like fight it out and make stuff happen. But I think what this is even cooler, which is like citizens and government working together to make it work better. And so, you know, they have shared goals. It's not like the government wants to like tear down the little entrepreneur, and it's not like the entrepreneur really wants to like go poison kids. Like, they all are on the same team, right? And they're working together to do it, as opposed to like making that happen through a fight. And so I think, like, really what the sort of fundamental truth that comes out of this for me is that empowerment is really about that we're really better together. So thanks.